Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures, giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Kakodash. And this is from the Zandervan Bible Dictionary. And when you go to Edom / Edomites, it'll say Edom, Edomites. And it'll tell you in this book that Edom means red. I'm not going to go to Genesis, 25. And other individuals can do that video, or you can come on the comment section of this video, and if you need more information, I'll be happy to supply it to you. Anyway, the last paragraph of this hey, you know what? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but anyway, it says this is about, there's a couple of paragraphs down. Okay, one. Let's say about the second paragraph, going into the third paragraph. Anyway, it says here, it says, the kingdom of Edom was founded during the 13th century BC. According to the archaeological evidence, in the process of about 4 centuries, the government of Edom changed from one under tribal chiefs to a monarchy. Saul fought against the Edomites. So anybody saying that the new thing now is there's no such thing as Edomites. Edomites never existed, along with Israelites. This is 1 Samuel 14, verse 47. But David conquered them and put garrisons throughout the whole land. 2 Samuel 8, verse 14. It says Judah lost Edom, or Yahweh, the kingdom of Yahweh, which at that time you had that split between the kingdom of Yahweh and the kingdom of Yasha'Allah. They still had Edomites under their foot, let's say. So it says Yahweh lost Edom in the reign of Jehoram, won a revolt against him about 847 BC. So we're talking a little less than, a little more than 800 years before the Lord came on the scene. You had Edomites they were still around. So it makes sense that they have to be somewhere. You have Vocab Malone and others saying that Edomites were done away with. And I'm going to explain what you're looking at on the screen. It says 2 Kings 8, verse 20 to 22. About 50 years later, Amaziah, so we're talking about 800 years BC, Amaziah, king of Yahweh, which he was bugged out, because after he killed them, he started worshiping their god, Quaz, which was the main god. I believe they had more than one god, but this particular god of Edom looked just like Barry Manilow. Looked like a so-called Jew. And by the way, just come to find out that Barry Manilow was a Mo. Inflicted a severe defeat on the Edomites. 2 Kings 14, verse 8. about 735 years BC. So Esau was still around. Now, if Esau was destroyed, according to Vocab Malone, then there would be some evidence of their destruction. It says king of Syria about 735 BC, Rezin, king of Syria. We talk about Syria. Syria is big in the news right now because Edom attacked Syria. Edom being Biden the Edomite, at war with Yahweh, captured Eloth and drove the tribe of Yahweh, says Jews here, out. 2 Kings 16 verse 6. When Jerusalem was destroyed, and when Jerusalem was destroyed, and Yahweh depopulated by the Babylonians in 586 BC. So we're talking about a little more than 500 years before the birth of the Lord. So there's still evidence that Esau was still around. So if you go to about 500 BC, to the point that the Lord came on the scene, you have to have some evidence of Edom being totally destroyed within that 500 plus year period. Edom was never destroyed. Edom, just like Israel, was scattered. Some Edomites stayed down in Mount Seir, some went up, to the Caucasus Mountains, and some were just scattered. You have so-called Jewish rabbis and scholars saying that the Romans were actually descended from Edom. You can look it up. So Edom definitely existed, and Edom, based upon the lack of evidence of the destruction of Edom, is still here among us. Now, current so-called white people descended from what? The Greco-Roman Empire. It said the Edomites rejoice over the affliction of Yahweh and began to take over the southern part of Palestine. Eventually they penetrated as far north as Hebron. This action intensified the already smoldering hatred between Yahweh and the Edomites, and that goes back to them both being in the womb of Rebekah. It says 2 nations shall proceed from thy bowels, and 2 manner of people, 2 different type of people, and one people shall be stronger than the other people. See, this concept of the UFC was set up for Edomites, so-called white people, to dominate that sport. But guess what's happening? Jake is dominating. The champions of most of those divisions are either so-called Negroes, Nigerians, which are Israelites. ISCPK, you got to wake up to that. You have the heavyweight, the Nigerian guy. If he gets another shot, he gonna win that title. He gonna be the number 1 guy or the champion of the UFC heavyweight division. Then you have the 170-pound champ, which was Camorra, and you have Israel Adesanya, which is a Nigerian. He had swept through kickboxing that basically took over the middleweight division, which is 185, and now he's fighting for a light heavyweight title at 205. And then you have other Jakes in the lower divisions. They just dominating, So, the scriptures say one shall be stronger than the other. The Israelites shall be stronger than the Edomites. It says, it gives you pretty much all these precepts that we go to. Psalms 137 verse 7, Ezekiel 25 verse 12 to 14, Amos 1 and 11, Obadiah, they put down, Obadiah, which is one chapter long, verses 10 to 14, you can really read up to 18. So, Edom is spoken about in between 500 BC and when the Lord came on the scene. So we can narrow it down to during that 500 years period, Esau was destroyed. So there would be some form of evidence. There's no evidence of Esau or the Edomite kingdom being destroyed. So guess what, vocab? Esau is still here. Now it says here, the last paragraph, Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures, which is the Bible, the only book that contain prophecies. And that's why you think Sarnetism is always bringing up the Bible, because that's the scriptures can't be mated with any other book pursuant to Isaiah, the 34th chapter. And why? Because of the prophecies. It says Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgment. It's a great future judgment. So even the people that put this book together, the scholars, whatever you want to call them, they know that Edom is still here. It says, see notably Isaiah 34 verse 5. Now, you see the picture on the wall there, on the screen of this Edomite. And this is a video put up by Remnant Save 144 Bar entitled They refuse to accept their inevitable destiny, which is their destruction. So it says, she is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. So if the Most High is going to destroy your kingdom, he's going to make it known in history. When the Egyptian empire was destroyed, we still speak about that today. And the Egyptians never came back into power. So you can go to this video and watch the video, because this Edomite, like I said, he was asked a question and he said he couldn't answer it. He had to go do the research. And in one part of this video, he said he admits that the Edomites are still here. And then another part, he says that they're not here. In a roundabout way. I mean, you can watch the video. I'm not going to let you listen to the Edomite, but you can watch the video and see for yourself. Now, he mentions two scriptures from what I read from the Zandavins. He went through Isaiah 34 and Isaiah 63. And he admitted that's a future prophecy. But you know what? If you do too much research and you realize that points to you or fellow so-called white people, which are really Edomites, and you can see that the man is red, you know, you're going to deny it. You're going to say, well, the Edomites are done away with. We're not the Edomites. So not only do they have to disprove that we're not the Israelites, they have to disprove that they're not the Edomites. And they are the Edomites, and we are the Israelites. Ezra in second Ezra, the 6th chapter said, 9th verse, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the kingdom is coming when the Most High uplifts Jacob, or Yaquab. So we're in that time. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but if you go to the Southern Poverty Law Center, they had a list of pretty much all the One West groups. As a list, they had all the GMS New York, GMS Dallas, GMS Houston, GMS Philly, GMS LA, GMS this, GMS that. And then they had the IUIC. They had the different, they were mentioned also, ISUPK. As a matter of fact, Johanna did an interview back in, I believe this was 2009, with the Southern Poverty Law Center. So it's like a map. When you go to their site, it's a map of all the so-called hate groups. Now, what makes us a hate group? I don't know. We're not a hate group. We're a love group. You know, we're really a truth group. We're dealing with truth. All right. When we talk about Esau being destroyed, Esau going into captivity, we're just quoting what the scriptures say. Why is it such a big deal? You know, if somebody kills a family member of yours, and you know, there's scenes, you can go to YouTube, of people that lose it in courts and try to jump and to get the defendant. You know, they might get to him and hit him with a chair or grab him up and beat him a couple of times, or the whole family jump in. Can you call them can you call that family a hate group? No. If anything, that's a mad group. That's people that want vengeance for this individual killing their son or their daughter or whoever. And when Esau declares war against another nation, is that an act of hate? Is America a hate group? Well, what you would say is, no, they did this, so we got to go get them for it. Well, that ain't hate. That's called payback. And payback is a bitch, Esau. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with one last scripture, Revelation 13, verse 9 and 10. It said, he that leaves into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, can you call the Bible a hate book? Because that sounds like hate to me.